All right, hello everybody, and welcome to our first Gamm Studio live showcase. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you all here and our wonderful actors and performers who've been taking one of our very first classes online. And so I'd like to introduce Fred Sullivan Jr., who's the instructor of this class and our guide for the evening.
Hi, welcome to Gamm Theater and the Gamm Studio Shakespeare Monologue Workshop, or Classic Monologue Workshop. But since the classic author we are working on is primarily and only Shakespeare, we're calling it a Shakespeare Monologue Workshop. Sometimes the sound or the picture may blur or glitch, and it's not your fault of your computer. We're just getting used to this, our COVID-19 players. So I want you to know that if you have a question for us, the 4 of you or 6 of you or however are there now, how many of you are there now, want to type in a comment, congratulations, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, or Fred, why is Captain Hook's hook in your window, or any of those important, vital questions, you can type in, and Susie, our moderator, who runs the education department at Gamm brilliantly, will say, Fred, after the performance, Fred, we have a question or a comment that you should know, and we will include that. Okay, so if you want your voice heard as part of this, please join us. We're going to start off with 1601's greatest play, and maybe the world's greatest play, Hamlet by William Shakespeare. David is going to do Claudius, and we are going to give him the screen.
Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray, can I not? Though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet, what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! Oh, limed soul that struggling to be free art more engaged! Help, angels! Make assay. Bow stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Bravo! Very, 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 very good, David. Excellent. We all have our little applause icons going, and if any of you want to make comments about that, that of course was Claudius's monologue after Hamlet forces him to watch the play within a play, and he is overcome with guilt. And that was very, very, very nicely done. We may have had technical glitch or two, but you could hear it beautifully. And when you could hear it, you understood that David had done some excellent, beautiful work in there. From Shakespeare's best known play, perhaps, to his least known play, or one of them, we're going to jump to Coriolanus and Kathy, who is going to play Coriolanus's mother, Volumnia. If you are interested in this play, I know there is a live one available streaming right now from one of the greater theaters, either it's not the National, but it's either the Stratford or one. You just type in Coriolanus live and you'll be able to see it and catch a play that is very rarely done. Kathy has been doing excellent work on this. I'm going to give her the screen and welcome Kathy as Volumnia.
Should we be silent and not speak our lament, and state of bodies would bewray what life we have led since thy exile? Think with thyself, are we come hither since that thy sight, which should make our eyes flow with joy, hearts dance with comforts, constrains them weep and shake with fear and sorrow, making the mother, the wife, and child to see, the son, the husband, and the father tearing his country's bowels out? And to poor we, thine enmity's most capital, thou barrest us our prayers to the gods for what we enjoy? But how can we for our country pray? How can we, whereto we are bound, together with thy victory, whereto we are bound, or else we lose our country, our dear nurse, or else our person, our comfort in thy country? We must find an evident calamity, for if we had our wish, which side would win? Or else thou must be led with manacles through our streets, or triumphantly tread and bear palm for having bravely shed thy wife and children's blood. For myself, son, I purpose not to wait on these wars to determine. If I cannot persuade thee rather to show a noble grace to both parts than show and to bring an end to one, then rather than let thee march and assault thy country, trust to it, thou shalt not on thy mother's womb that brought thee to this world.
Excellent. Excellent, Kathy. Really good. The reins are off. The beautiful language is chewed. The emotional life is present. Look at all the applause you've got. Those little yellow icon hands. I'm thrilled with that, Kathy. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're now going to go to our third from Henry IV, Part 1. The character, you could tell his temperament by his name, Hotspur. And this is Daniel. Take it away, Daniel, with Hotspur from Henry IV, Part 1.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners, but I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed, fresh as a bridegroom, and his chin new reaped showed like a stubble land at harvest home. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a poonsip box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and took it away again. And therewith angry, when it next came near, still he took it and snuffed, And still he smiled and talked, and as soldiers bore dead bodies by, he called them untaught knaves, unmannerly, to bring a slovenly, unhandsome course betwixt the wind and his nobility. With many holiday and lady terms, he questioned me, and amongst the rest, demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting, with my wounds being cold, to be so pestered by a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience, answered neglectingly, I know not what. He should or he should not. For he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds. God save the mark. And telling me the sovereignest thing on earth is parmacetti for an inward bruise. And it was great pity, so it was, that this villainous saltpeter should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth, which many a good fellow had destroyed. So cowardly. But for these vile guns, he would have himself been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly as I said, and I beseech you, let not his report concur for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
I could not be more proud of you, sir. That was unrecognizable. The growth in that was great. It was not only clearer and more specific, but it was so much more fun. And I could tell because you were having fun.
Thank
And
you.
it was physical and it was free and much, much, much better with the language. I'm so proud of you. I could jump out of my skin. Okay, we're doing great. We're halfway through. We did 3 monologues, all really, really successful. And I'm thrilled with that. Our next class, I just want to put in a plug before we jump to Luke, starts, and we're going to do a Zoom every Monday night, 6:30 to 9:30 for 6 weeks. Starts May 18th, comedy monologue class. So we'll do contemporary comedies, classical comedies, depending on what the students want. And we will work on, what you would use for an audition or, it's a monologue class. So you work on language and work on acting and work on everything like we're working tonight. So please take a look at the website that you're on now, right? And Friday night, to the one and only Tony Estrella, the great, dear, dear, dear friend of mine, Tony Estrella, and I will be on Brush Up Your Shakespeare in the evening talking about Shakespeare's greatest comedy characters, a couple that I've played, Malvolio and Bottom and Falstaff. So we'll be talking about comedy in general and then specifically those characters. That's not to be missed. We have a great sponsor for that night and we want you to join us, okay? So take a look around on the Gamm website for all the information. I believe we're starting at 7:30. Luke is back to a lesser known play, one of the problem plays. They're all problem plays. He's playing Claudio, Isabella's brother. I'm going to just give you a thumbnail introduction that Isabella is a beautiful, beautiful young woman studying to be a nun. And the person who has taken over the government falls for her and says, if you sleep with me, I will get your brother out of jail and we will not kill him. He's on death row. So she goes to visit him and said, I can't trade my virginity for your life. And this is what he says. This is the one and only Luke doing Claudio from Measure for Measure.
Has he affections in him that would make him bite the law by the nose when he would force it? And sure, it is no sin, or of the deadly 7 it is the least. If it were so damnable, he being so wise, why would he for the momentary trick be so purgably fined? Isabel! Death is a fearful thing, aye, but to die and go we know not where, to lie in cold obstruction and to rot, this warm, sensible motion to become a kneaded clod, and the delighted spirits bathe in fiery floods or reside in thrilling regions of thick-ribbed ice, is to be imprisoned in the viewless winds and blown with restless violence round about the pendant world, to be worse than worst of all those with lawless and uncertain thoughts can imagine howling. It is too horrible. The weariest and most loathed worldly life that age, ache, penury, and imprisonment can lay on nature is a paradise to what we fear of death. Sweet sister, let me live. What sins you do to save a brother's life, nature dispenses with as they become a virtue.
Very happy. Very, very, very happy. The thing about the Gamm classes that I love, and I started teaching acting, man and boy, 40 years ago on Cape Cod. Started teaching acting when I was a teenager. And I've done a class Monday night for the last 26, 27 years. When I brought it over to the Gamm, the reason I love it is we seem to have all levels of people who have acted professionally in the same room with people who have done one or two plays or high school or college plays. And we're just are really fascinated by great writing and want to know how to inhabit it. So I love these classes, and I am so happy that in this health crisis, we have found a way to stay intimate and growing and present. And that's why I would recommend that you don't back off these classes just because we're not together in a room, that being impossible now. We have two more famous speeches tonight. One, Emma is about to do Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. In 1595, Mr. Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet and Midsummer Night's Dream. This we call kind of the first plateau where character was king, and he really knew how to put a play together. Every single character was interesting. It's not Richard III where he's great and everybody else is kind of in the back seat. This play, Romeo and Juliet, is full of amazing characters, and there's always kind of one genius in a play that we can't take our eyes off, and Juliet certainly is the genius. So we needed a genius to play it. We have Emma now in Romeo and Juliet.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a Wagner as Phaethian whip you to the west and bring cloudy night immediately. Spread thy clothes, curtain love, performing night, that runaway eye may wink and bring in, and Romeo may leap to these arms, untalked of and unseen. Lovers may see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, but if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match, played for a pair of stainless maidenhood. Hood, my unmanned blood bating in my cheek with thy black mantle, till strange love grown bold, think true love acted simple modesty. Come, night, come, Romeo, come thou day in night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle night, thou loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when he shall die, take him and cut him into little stars, and he shall make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I've bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it. And though I am sold, not yet enjoyed. Oh, how tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival to some child who hath new robes and may not wear them.
Could not be better. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. That was great. Really, really great. Emma, bravo, brava. Listen, just before 1601, when he wrote Hamlet, Shakespeare was winding up for his most complex character. And we knew that one of the biggest characteristics of Hamlet is his melancholy. He's in mourning and he's grieving. So what do you do for your greatest actor, Richard Burbage, just before he's going to play that? Well, legend has it that he wrote Jaques in All's Well That Ends Well, and this is his most famous speech, a profound, funny, heartbreaking speech about the ages of man. And of course, if you live in Rhode Island, you know that everybody's favorite person is Frank O'Donnell. So I thought it would be great to have him share these words with us. And we're going to bring this home right now and then maybe hear your comments or answer some questions. But our cleanup act, as we like to call it in the biz, is Frank O'Donnell doing Jaques from As You Like It.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits, they have their entrances. Each man in his time plays many parts. His acts having 7 ages. First, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then the whining schoolboy with satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, breathing, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made unto his mistress's eyebrow. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, and jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly with good capon lined, with eyes severe and a beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age slips into the lean and slippered pantaloon with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank. And his big manly voice, turning again to childish treble with pipes and whistles in his sound. And the last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, the second childishness in mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
That was exquisite, Frank. Sublime. We had talked, come back, everybody. Come back as a class, please. We had talked as the group about pre-taping these and sharing them as finished, works of art, so that we could all show our best work from what we've been doing for the past. It's really only been a little over 5 weeks. We met 3 times on Zoom. And in between, they would film and I would get back to them and give them notes or talk to them in the next class about what they had done. But the danger and the grace and the inspiration and the brilliance of the moment is what theater is all about. Shakespeare is really the ultimate theater writer. We decided that doing it live for each other and for those of you who chose to watch us tonight would be the way to go. And I am thrilled at how this went. So to remind you of 2 things, The next class we're going to do is just going to be in this form, and it's comedy instead of Shakespeare. That starts on May 18th. And Friday night, Tony and I are going to be talking about Shakespeare's clowns. I'm going to ask Susie, our producer and the head of the Gamm Education Department, to just chime in and say, Fred, we had a question or we had a comment, and if there aren't any, she could say, nothing from here, Fred. We will move on. Susie?
We just had one comment from Mary Paulino, and she says, "Brava, Kathy, best thing I've ever seen you do." That was
Well, isn't that nice? Yeah, that's nice. Now, I have been an actor since I was, 8 years old. And I didn't really learn to act till I was 34, but it never stopped me before then. I will tell you that whenever anybody tells me it was the best thing you ever did, I say, what was wrong with the other 300? However, it's the nicest thing that you could say other than you're always great, and that was among the greatest. And it's true. It's true, Kathy. It was beautiful. And I would say the same goes for absolutely all of you. That was really good work tonight. It's an odd thing to just act to a camera, but I think it's actually a great experience because so often now I have cast entire plays that I've directed from submitted videos. And it kind of helps you to get used to acting to a camera, which is very important, as we know, in television and film. So win-win on this whole thing. I want to thank Susie for the opportunity of this class and bringing us together. There she is, the beautiful face. And this really couldn't have been better, guys. I'm so happy with it and proud of it. And all of you. David, are you live? Are you still with us live? I think he went to the bathroom. So I'm going to find a way to, Frank, how do you feel about this whole thing? Say a couple of words of this new way to take a class. Unmute.
I actually think it's very interesting. I'm glad that I was in on the experimental phase of this. I don't really think we missed anything except being in the same room with everybody. The feedback was great from everybody. It was a learning experience for the camera side of it, as I think we all determined as we were submitting our tapes.
We were very patient, which is very good.
Yeah, but I thought it was great. And I think everybody got the perfect monologue for themselves, which is the best part.
And Kathy?
I found this evening that I felt trapped to something that I didn't have a problem with, obviously, in classrooms before, is having the screen in front of us. I was always looking at myself when we acted. Tonight, I didn't see that. And so at first it threw me.
Great.
And obviously when you're performing live, in a different arena, you don't have that.
Yeah.
You find a crutch sometimes, and no matter what venue you're in, and I didn't think there would be a crutch online, and I found there is, no matter what you do. So you got to.
There's always a voice in our head. There's always something that makes us self-conscious.
You've got to kick those crutches out, no matter where you are.
And let go the reins and let it go. And you were ready and you flew. Emma, how did it feel tonight?
I think it went really well. I was, to be honest, very nervous about it because this is the first time I'd performed in a little while. But I was really glad, actually. Like, one of the good things about this class being online is that I could take part in it, because if it was not online, if we weren't doing this whole pandemic thing, I'd still be out in California at school. And so I would not have been able to meet all of you amazing people and have had this experience.
We're very lucky to have you. Luke, comments, questions, anything?
This is one of my first acting classes. I loved every minute of it. It was so great to have something to, fill all that extra quarantine time. It was really great to work on this with you guys.
Got better every week, and you were amongst the bravest because you started physical and up on your feet and memorized, and it just got better and better and better. I'm a big fan of yours, kiddo. Daniel.
I really enjoyed this. I think it took me a while to kind of get the hang of it. And then at the end, I kind of
Well, you had not done a lot of this before, yes?
Yeah, I haven't
So
done
it's important. I've directed Frank in professional plays. You haven't done a lot of this at all. So you see the two of you doing the same thing. And it's so encouraging and lovely. And to share this playwright with everyone. I'm thrilled with your work. It was really fun tonight, which is my goal for you.
Thank you.
David, have you joined us yet?
Apparently I'm here by audio, but for some reason my video is blocked.
Okay, talk to us. We can still see your shining face.
Well,
Talk to us.
I was glad to have a chance to do this and to learn this speech and think about the character and what he must have been going through in that moment, in that play. To have committed the perfect crime and then be discovered.
And it was well done. I tell you, guys, this art form, when one makes it personal, when one is brave enough to have the technical support, the imagination, when that comes together, which it did tonight, we have art. I'm thrilled that we were able to come together in this way, supported by Susie. To be able to share it with others tonight was a thrill. And this was exciting. It was live theater through technology. And we will join for our next class on the 18th for comedy. Please sign up. Please come and join us. It's really fun, whether you're highly experienced or new to it. And as I said, Friday night on Brush Up Your Shakespeare, Tony and I will talk about the clowns. Thank you, guys. This was really a joy.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Brad.
And good night,
Bye.
everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.